publicly traded companies in the psychedelic space just got a little more crowded. Canada's Field Trip Health is being uplisted on the Nasdaq today. The Canadian-based company has developed a network of psychedelics-assisted therapy clinics. Joining us now is Field Trip Health's chairman, Ronan Levy. Ronan, thanks so much for being with us. I took a look at the stock. It is down just fractionally here in its uplisting on the Nasdaq. What does today's listing mean for the company and your reaction to investor reception, at least here in the early going?
I think this is a huge achievement for the company. Since day one, our focus has been on getting to the Nasdaq because this is the platform where world-leading biotech and pharma companies go to list and raise capital ultimately. And for us to get to this point after just 28 months, I heard in the comments about Robinhood, it's been about 6 years. Field Trip is listing on the Nasdaq to the global select tier after just 28 months. So I think it reflects the interest and the excitement about psychedelics and their potential applications for psychiatry and mental health in the future.
And of course, Ronan, congratulations to you and the rest of some of your employees for going public today. I do want to ask, because just within this 2 hours alone, we chatted with the interim CEO of another psychedelics company, the CEO of MindMed. This space is getting a little bit crowded. How do you think your company really can differentiate itself from some of the others?
I actually don't think the space is getting crowded. I think we're just getting started. A lot of the interest right now is in the classic psychedelic molecules like psilocybin, like MDMA, like LSD. What differentiates us is two key things. First of all, our drug development efforts are focused on the next generation of psychedelics. FT104 is a novel psychedelic molecule that really offers a lot of the benefits associated with psilocybin. It's not psilocybin, but it's very similar with a much shorter duration of action. So it's clinically more efficient and more adaptable to deliver. And from an IP perspective, it's more robust. So the ROI on it should be higher, assuming we succeed in getting through clinical trials, but everything looks very positive about it. The second thing that differentiates Field Trip, and it's important to know about psychedelic therapies more broadly, is that we're talking about experiential medicine with psychedelics, that something called the set and setting, the mindset a person brings into a psychedelic experience or psychedelic therapeutic experience, as well as the location where it takes place and the therapies it gets paired with, have a significant effect on the therapeutic outcomes. If you're focused only on drug development, then you're missing this essential component of the therapeutic process. And Field Trip, because we're building both the clinical infrastructure and studying the setting, and therapeutic protocols, along with the drug development, is uniquely positioned to leverage the insights and synergies that come from developing both, because it is so critically important in psychedelic therapies that they work together, that the drug works with the setting and therapeutic protocols.
I want to get your take now, Ronan, on something that happened in Congress earlier this week. A couple days ago, the House actually rejected an amendment that was designed to free up research into the therapeutic potential of psychedelics. How much of a roadblock do you see regulation and perhaps different laws coming into place that can actually really help boost growth in the area? How much of a roadblock do you think that's going to be for your industry?
I don't think it's going to be a roadblock. The amendment that was blocked was about permitting federal funding for this research. The research that is happening right now is mostly being driven by corporations or academic institutions. So certainly access to federal funding helps, but it's not a requirement. What we're talking about here, if you think about how drugs are scheduled in the US or Schedule 1, it's a declaration that there's no therapeutic value to that particular molecule. And what we're seeing with the MDMA-assisted trials, with the psilocybin-assisted trials, is that there's absolutely therapeutic value. In fact, there's more than just therapeutic value. These molecules are incredibly therapeutic and incredibly safe as well. And so rescheduling in that process is going to happen by virtue of just the data and the evidence continue to mount. And really, it's becoming a snowball effect. There's so much research, so many resources, so many academic institutions starting to pile in to explore this area that it seems to me like a virtual certainty that we'll see access to psychedelics either through FDA approval, MDMA-assisted therapy expected to be approved sometime in 2023, psilocybin around 2025, or through state access programs. We saw the state of Oregon create the first market for psilocybin services in the last election, expected to go live sometime in the next year or two. California and Florida are also considering state access programs. Even the state of Texas, which you would think may be more closed-minded to these pursuits has recently introduced legislation to start researching psilocybin and MDMA-assisted therapy for the treatment of veterans. So it's happening across the board, and as the data continues to mount, I'm quite confident that attitudes, both political, social, and scientific, will change quite rapidly.
All right, Ronan Levy. Oh, go ahead, Kristen, go for it.
I wanted to quickly ask you, Ronan, before we have to say goodbye. I think when we think of pharmaceutical companies, we think of those quote unquote winners perhaps as ones that are able to, cure cancer or cure HIV/AIDS or cure Alzheimer's, for example. And those companies have been getting a lot of attention and a lot of focus. In your field right now, what is going to be the focus for some of these mental health illnesses? Is it depression right now? And do you think that the company that can perhaps come out and champion, a really great and effective way of treating depression? We've seen so many other companies have so many other side effects. Do you think that company is going to be the quote unquote winner of this space?
I don't see a single winner in this space. I think what is more and more being recognized, particularly as it comes to mental health and emotional well-being, is that it's much more complex, that there's no single drug, no silver bullet, that it's a process, and that application and access to different therapeutics are going to be necessary. So certainly we're seeing amazing results with the MDMA assisted trials that are happening with MAPS, showing that up to 70% of participants in their phase 3 trial had total resolution of symptoms associated with PTSD. They no longer qualified as having PTSD. That's a near effective cure. It doesn't mean that depression may not still be relevant to their lives. And so psilocybin or FT104 may be relevant. And there's going to be different indications: depression, treatment-resistant depression, major depression, PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder. There's going to be so many comorbidities, so many similar indications, but different approvals, and how the drugs interact and support the experience and the evolution of that patient is going to be relevant. So I don't see a single winner. I see a number of successful products. And as the next generation of psychedelic molecules get approved and legalized and move forward, we're just going to get better and better at delivering robust healthcare.
All right, Field Trip Health's chairman, Ronan Levy. Again, congratulations on the uplisting to the Nasdaq today.